No?
Michael Jackson.
Oh, okay. Really? You're not using my mic? Maybe I'll send this out to all you guys. That wouldn't hurt. I mean, I'm glad you're born. I might as well love you, too. There's a lot of faces in here I know that visit this place regularly. And what's not to love about Ashley? She has a smile on her face every time you see her. She's beyond belief when she's there to help. She's put up with my warped sense of humor for 3 years or so without having to take medication. And I just want to thank you for the great job you do and the great job that everybody does here at the library, the entire staff and the director as well. It's a pleasure to be here. Be prepared for anything. But thank you very much. I appreciate it. Wow, I don't even know what to say. There's so many people that have crawled out of the woodwork here. I don't know whether to run. Do I owe anybody money? No. I do? I played here last year and I talked so much I wasn't able to really play very many songs. So I'm going to try to talk less tonight and play more.
No, I was having a tough time concentrating on my taxes.
That's okay. Most of us are having a tough time paying our taxes.
Well, that's even worse.
You're not doing too badly. I'm going to do an amalgam of material for you tonight. I'm going to do some original stuff. I'm going to do some original arrangements from some people that have been hugely influenced by it throughout my life and made a difference. And the first tune I'm going to do for you is actually by James Taylor. He's been a huge fan of mine for a long time. And but it brings me back to San Antonio. One of the opportunities I had, one of the best opportunities I've had in the music business was to play a solo performance before John Blake at the Majestic Theater. It was the scariest thing I ever did. I went #2 like 7 times that day. And right before the show again. Happened to anybody when they get nervous? No, Jake? Ever? No. But anyway, so to make a long story short, which I have a really hard time doing, the show went off great. It was 3,000 people. You could hear a pin drop. So the next day I'm reading the review. I'm reading his review, which was good, and then they reviewed me as well. And in the review they said that they would have liked to hear, I did one of my original songs, and they said they would like to hear James Taylor sing that song. So I'm thinking, I was flabbergasted. This is fantastic. And then people are saying, can you believe they wrote that? I'm thinking, I'm honored, So ironically, on the same paper, the same day, James Taylor was playing in San Francisco. I was playing in San Antonio. So I'm reading his review, and it said on one of his songs that they would have liked to hear Artie Sandoli do it. So it all averages out. But it really is wonderful to see all these faces. Gosh. Hi, you guys.
since we're only here for a while. Might as well show some style. So why don't we just ride down, glide down, ride on down. Try not to try too hard. Try not to try too hard. Try not to try too hard, 'cause it's a lovely ride. A lovely ride. Ooh. Ooh, time now. Think about time, is that time isn't real. No, it's just your point of view. Tell me now, how does it feel to you? Einstein said he never understood at all. Planets spinning round in space. Look at these smiles upon our face. Welcome to the human race. Why don't you just ride down, glide down, ride on down. Try not to try too hard, baby. Try not to try too hard till now. Try not to try too hard, 'cause it's a lovely ride. A lovely ride. Oh. Think about time, is that time isn't really real.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I am going to do an original song for you now, a spiritual song. Anybody objecting to that? Did you take your medication? I sing this song every day. And I really, this is really the start of this evening, because I am encouraged by this song, and I love the theory of the fact that we should die every day so that we wake up the next morning and we're reborn. We don't think about what happened yesterday, and we don't think about what happened tomorrow. All we have is today. And so it's called Falling at His Feet. Lord, here I come again. I'm falling at your feet. I am again. My God, there I go again. I'm feeling so human again. God, keep me in your sight. Protect me from the night. Lead me down your path, then strike away the wrath. And give me the strength to do what's right. Give me the strength to do your will. Jesus, when he walked this earth, he put it so clearly, he did. It was so simple to understand, yet the people
were so blind to him, yet he still loved them. He did. He loved them just the same. So teach us not to stray and to see the light of day, and hold us in your hands while we await upon your plan, and give us the strength to do your will. Give us the strength to do what is right, what is right. Teach us not to stray and to see the light of day. Hold us in your hand while we await upon your plan, and give us the strength to do your will. Give us the strength to do what is right, what is right. Please come talk to us and teach us our stories, each and every one of us. And Father God, please come walk with us and show us the way home. We want to make it home. So keep us in your heart like you have right from the start. Please don't let us fall while we wait upon your call, and give us the strength to do your will. Give us the strength to do what is right, what is right. What is right? Teach us not to stray and to see the light of day. Hold us in your hands while we wait upon your plan. Please don't let us fall while we wait upon your call, and give us the strength to do your will. Give us the strength to do whatever you will.
So I just brought you to my living room. That's where I've been. I played that song now for 412 days consecutively. I made 2 mistakes and you didn't even notice. This next song, I'm going to try to not talk a lot. This next song was done by a young man who was determined in his life to play music for a lot of people, be popular, and make a lot of money. This is what he was going to do as a very young person. And I know what that's like. I wish I could have been there to advise him. But, so he went out to do it and found himself in bars. People wasted, drinking, just... And he had been doing it long enough that he understood the guy. Okay, yeah, I'll do that too, sure. But anyway, it becomes serious because he lost his oomph, and he really took it hard. And he was playing in frat places and bar rooms and coffee houses, and where they passed a hat at like 14 cents, 57 cents, so people didn't have any money. So he really fell ill with it and actually took an attempt on his life using poison, with something like Clorox. I forget how it really goes. I'm trying to make the story short, but the story's a lot longer than that. And so he ended up in rehab in this institution of sorts, and or do we have to call it something else, like institutionally challenged? But anyway, he ended up being there for 6 months, and it did him a lot of good. And he came out with the same epiphany. He was going to do this, and he's determined to do it. And he went out and did the same thing again. And then he emerged with his first hit song called Piano Man.
Oh my.
It's Billy Joel. And I'm going to do one of my favorite songs that he's written. It's the vocal work on it's phenomenal, and it's I'm cutting a lot of songs short. I just want you to know so that I can play more material for you this year. So this will only be 4 seconds. It's called For the Longest Time. Now if you said goodbye to me tonight, there would still be music left to write. What else could I do? I am so inspired by you. That hasn't happened for the longest time. Once I thought my innocence was gone, but the greatest miracle went on. That's where you found me, when you put your arms around me. That hasn't happened for the longest time. Whoa, 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 for the longest time. Whoa, for the longest time. That voice you're hearing in the hall, but the greatest miracle of all was how you needed me and how I needed you too. That hasn't happened for the longest time. Whoa, whoa, for the longest time. Whoa, for the longest. I don't care what consequence it brings. I have been a fool for less a thing. I want you so bad, and I think you ought to know that I intend to hold you for the longest time. Whoa, whoa, for the longest time. Whoa, for the longest time. Thank you. I recently was forced to go on a diet. Has anybody ever had to do that? No, I found it to be quite difficult, but you have to set your mind to it. But I set my mind to lose 35 pounds, and I did.
I found it.
They're a punchline.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and I transferred it through psychological whatever. But I found it's really good. Obesity is not one of the biggest problems in our world. It costs us about $2 trillion a year. This is not why I lost weight. I lost weight so that I didn't have to take 11 medications. And I changed the way I did things. But $2 trillion, that's 5 times our national defense budget. Can you imagine? Every time you see that $5 million helicopter go by. So it's pretty amazing. But what I had to do is I had to come up with tools, and I wanted to share with you tonight. They really work. If you decide you want to lose some weight, all of you look pretty good. Most of you. Hi, Chris. My buddy. But let me show you a few tools I came up with. What you want to do is just use one chopstick. No, this works. It works, you know. Even with peanut butter, you can only get so much on the side before it starts to. But I bought several of them, and I locked up the pair, you know, the other one. So I found this to be effective. And then I said to myself, well, honestly, to lose weight, you just go from using a big spoon to a small spoon. But then if you have a small spoon, that justifies that you can have two, right? It's just like low fat, and they're only this big. So that didn't work for me either. So I had somebody make me up this spoon. And you still get something around the edges. But, so I'm just giving you some ideas here. I have more in there, but I don't want to waste time with that. But just, you know, the chopsticks are really cheap. I'm going to do another original song. The song goes back to some of the first songs I wrote, and it has to do with innocent love. Has anybody been there? I mean, you know, when you're young and you don't know, all of a sudden you're thinking, is there really no need for an education? And I don't understand why we have to have parents anymore. You know, because you're just so intensified. I mean, you know what I mean when you're on 10 or 12, or whatever, 11, 10, 12, whatever. And then I experienced that. And I used to be, everybody know what a wheelie is on a bike? Kevin, you could probably relate to I was the wheelie champion of Brookfield, Massachusetts.
That's right.
Nobody could do better. And we had some horrible experiences in childhood, and we were given the most embarrassing bikes you ever could have. But the first bike I got, they got it out of the recycle, whatever. And I did a wheelie on it, and it broke in half. Seriously. It was embarrassing enough to have the balloon tires and that whole scene. Yeah. But anyway, people never realize how I got to be the wheelie champion. Wheeling, for those of you that don't know what a wheelie is, you pull your bike up and you just ride on the rear wheel. And my girlfriend at the time was my first girlfriend. Lived about 12 miles away, and I had the ability to ride there several times on two wheels, which, you know, was first just touching fingers, and then it was holding hands, and, you know, I was pretty geared up. And then I woke up one morning and I had a flat tire. She's like 12 miles away. And I did a wheelie all the way to her house. Because I couldn't afford to fix the tire. It was really cool, you know. And cars are going by. You know. And, but anyway, this is a song that I actually did write when I thought I was, because, you know, you're not in love at that point. I mean, but you still don't need parents. And you don't need anything anymore. I didn't even eat. I remember that. Remember you don't eat? It's like, no, I'm not hungry. So anyway, I got a little bit older, and I really felt like I had fallen in love with this girl. And it kind of includes the same type of thing. You know, I felt the same way, but I was old enough to know better. But I still couldn't eat. And we were doing much more than holding hands. Just kissing. You know. But anyway, it's called Oh, What a Feeling. I wrote this when I was about 19 years old. More than a decade ago now. But anyway, it goes like this. I'm climbing walls. I'm missing my cause. My mind has been pondering, yeah, every day.
that I can't explain. No, oh well, this feeling so strange. It runs up and down my spine. It's so divine. Oh, what a feeling. Is this a dream? Oh, what a feeling. Oh, is this what it feels like? Oh no. Oh, what a feeling. Is this what it seems like? I'm feeling proud. I wanna cry out loud. 'Cause it's got a hold on me for a lead. And it seems so fine. Oh, just in time. The signs were made clear to see. Destiny. Oh, what a feeling. Oh, yeah. Is this a dream? Oh, what a feeling. Oh, that's induced raspiness. Oh, what a feeling, yeah. Is this what it seems like? And I know it's true, baby. Oh, well, this day is so new. But like a kid in his yard at play, I want to stay. Yes, I know it's true. Oh, well, this day is so new. Yeah, but when it arrives so alive, it survives. Oh, what a feeling. Is this a dream? Oh, what a feeling. Is this what it seems like? Oh, God. Oh, what a feeling. Is this what it seems like? I think it is. It is love. It's love.
Oh.
So I was 20. I was really in love with her, but a lot of other people at the same time. It was really cool. Gonna do another original, do a back-to-back originals. I wrote this song for a very, very good friend of mine. I wrote it for her birthday, actually. And I wanted to make sure that she got it by her birthday. And I don't force songwriting. If it's not coming to me, I'm like, but I need to get this out. And it was frustrating because I was getting there. I wasn't looking to do a really difficult song. I wasn't looking to just to have it feel right. So this is like, it's like 10 of 11 the night before her birthday. And I'm like, I can't force this out. I can't force this out. It won't be a song for her. And then I tried to, I was thinking I could convince her I wrote another song that's popular. But then that wouldn't look good for her reputation. So about 10 after 11, all of a sudden it came to me. It was like, and I'm thinking, this is fantastic. It's like all there. It's what it's supposed to be. And like, now I got to record it. It's like 20 after 11, before her birthday. 2011. So I recorded it digitally, as we can do this day. 10 or 12. My little iPhone. Zip. You got it in 2 seconds. But anyway, it's called How Grateful I Am You Were Born. And it was written for her, but it has now become a universal song for me, and I've been singing it as a universal song. Wouldn't it be great for you to look person to the next person to you and say how grateful I am that you were born? You know, I'm grateful that all you guys were born because you wouldn't be here tonight, right? But I joke, I love grocery stores. I love going in and talking to people in the grocery stores. I love doing that. And I actually did this. This guy, he's kind of burly, and he had his Carhartt shirt on, and got the shoes that were untied, and kind of like, I eat beef. And so I quit eating beef, but I picked one up anyway, like I still ate it. And I looked at him and I said, I'm glad you were born. What'd you say? I was glad you're born. Oh, yeah, you too. But it's a great thing because it really is. And no, who would go look at the person right next to you? You'd think you're nuts. You know, we're really grateful you were born. You wacko. But anyway, she happens to be here tonight. It goes like this. I actually wrote this on piano, but I know that's a little challenge. Had you not been born, the sky would not be so blue. And had you not been born, your sparkles would not shone through. And had you not been born, so many smiles would have been lost. Had you not been born, the painting would be out of sight. And had you not been born, the pieces would not fit right. And had you not been born, so many places and people would be less adored. Tell you again and again and again and again and again how grateful I am that you were born. I'll tell you again and again and again and again and again, yeah, how grateful I am that you were born. I'll tell you again and again and again and again and again. Tell you again and again and again and again and again, yeah, yeah, how grateful I am that you were born. Yeah. And had you not been born, my smile would not seem this way. And had you not been born, my heart
Had you not been born, my smile would not be the same. And had you not been born, my heart would not have known you. Oh, ooh, yeah. Oh, I'll tell you again and again and again and again and again. Yeah, yeah. How grateful I am that you were born. I'll tell you again and again and again and again and again. Yeah, yeah. How grateful I am that you were born. Yeah, yeah. That you were born. It's not such a bad thing to go somebody, is it? Anyway, before I move to piano, I'm already running way behind. They're going to be doing a raffle at 7:30, and which doesn't give me a lot more time. But I'm going to play one quick song on the ukulele for you. We're going to try to get Dick up here before I run out of time. Dick Chase has been here. He's been, he's like, it just doesn't get old. No, I mean, he's been everybody's art teacher. Can you stand up so people can see who you are? He's become like a living legend. He was my art teacher. And I would explain to him how I was flunking music. And he said, you got him too, huh? Do you remember the music teacher at the time, bald head, small guy? He was very boring. And he would make me get up and do things like scales. I think I told you this, honey. And I would play like Beatles songs. Get down to the office. And then I was friends with Mr. Bastula. He goes, you playing Beatles songs again? Here, have a Coke. Just wait till the class is over. It was wonderful. It was a true story. Remember Mr. Bastula? He was the best. Yeah, he really was. Ukuleles are coming by storm. They're just all over the place. Have you noticed that, Dick? Yeah, it's like... The wind is coming in here and it's affecting the tuning, so... I was a little leery when my sound system tipped over earlier. But I shut the window. This is a song that goes back a long time. I certainly didn't write it on ukulele, and it wasn't anybody even close to it. Maybe I'll send this out to all you guys. That wouldn't hurt. I mean, I'm glad you're born. I might as well love you, too. Have I told you lately that I love you? Could I tell you again somehow again? Have I told you with all my heart and soul I adore you? I can't say that to everybody in here. Oh, maybe. A couple people didn't show up. That wasn't fair. Oh, darling, I'm telling you now, I am. Have I told you lately that I miss you? When the stars are shining in the sky, have I told you how the nights are so lonely without you with me? Oh, darling, I'm telling you now, I am. Ooh, my dream is of you somehow. Have I told you who I'd like to spend my love on forevermore? Oh, darling, I'm telling you now. This heart may break in two should you refuse me. I'm no good without you anyhow. Have I told you lately that I love you? Oh, darling, I'm telling you now. Oh, darling, I'm telling you now. Oh, darling, I'm telling you now. You notice that you really slowly get out of tune with that tune? You never stop in the middle of the song to tune an instrument. You know, we're going to move to the piano. You know, a lot of these television shows now that, you know, like Ellen and all that stuff, they always give away stuff, don't they? And the audience will be receiving today. Tell Bob. Bob, what's the audience receiving today? And I haven't left you guys out. Chris, can you help us with this one?
Yes, Artie, I can.
Yes.
We have for certain people the beautiful green flags from Amazon. You know Amazon, the country?
But these are, we'd ask that you please sit in your seats. The last time we did this, they had to call in the National Guard. But I'm just going to throw them out. Oh! But they really are. They're wonderful laundry bags. It's not like Ellen where they give you a car. You know what I mean? It's But anyway, that's it for the giveaways. But I do have another one. This one's kind of, this is a good one. Each one of you are gonna, well, not each one of you. We only have a few available, but you're gonna get a CD. You're gonna get a CD tonight. It's blank, but it's free. Okay, so you can go ahead. I happen to be out of my CDs, but if you're flying, I want to bring one other thing to your attention. I love this kind of humor because it just was done like back in the Carson days, but it's really true. JetBlue, you know, just moved into, they just came into Worcester last year, and they're doing great, like 50,000 flights or something. What is this thing bad for? Isn't it though? Yeah, why don't you just not worry about it, okay? And then they found it was a trend that flights had dropped off a little bit. And they were giving these to people to put over their eyes. It says lights out. Oh. You know, because Worcester Airport is very dense and they have to cancel flights a long time. This is what they give you. JetBlue, lights out. Isn't that interesting? And then I found this thing. The Japanese, right after the war, I don't know if you've ever seen these, but they were getting back at us as many ways as they could. Exposed wire that you plug in and put in your coffee cup. Yes. Right? You plug it in? Yeah. Right? Yeah. They lost like 12,000 people. Yeah, my grandmother had one of those. Yeah. Yeah. God rest her soul. But anyway, it's just, we've been very rained on and snowed on, haven't we? Yeah. So I'm going to sing a song that'll bring summer to you. It's called Summertime. Originally done for Porky and Bess, 1947, I believe, or something like that. Summertime, and the living is easy. Fish are jumping,
baby, don't you cry. One of these mornings you're gonna rise up singing. Oh yeah. Spread your wings and take to the sky. Until that morn, we're gonna rise up singing. Yeah, yeah. So hush a little baby, don't you cry. Well, hush a little baby, don't you cry. Hush little baby, don't you cry. Thank you. I just like to let you know that travel arrangements this evening was made by Town Cab, where you can enjoy the comfort of our 1977 Ford Taurus, and you can still smoke in the vehicles. We appreciate them being there. And the other thing I love to mention is our hometown store, Big Money. You know, and I guess I'm not supposed to mention names or whatever, but I love the store. You can go in there, the first thing you hear about is hemorrhoids. And then you hear about the weather, of course. Yeah, I heard next year is supposed to be something a lot like this year. Yeah, no, I'm doing fine. You know, my husband's dealing with a little leakage. You just hear it all, you know, and then you hear complaints. I love going in there. Damn town, you know, all this snow, they ain't doing a thing. These people are working. These are actual things I've heard them say when I'm in there. These guys are working their tails off, you know. Then you go, do you know what's in that? No, I just sell it. But they're a wonderfully community-minded store, and I really do. My Aunt Lena would attest to that. Is it not the best store, the best people, you know, the best deals, no card? And there's Wabbit Wednesday, where they have great deals on meat, as long as you use it that day. You know, it's just, it's a wonderful thing. But we go in there, you know, and then I talk to the guy, you know, behind the counter. I said, this is like supposed to use this by today. Oh, that's nothing. This is good for another week. And you can see where you already stuck another label over the first one. But I've never had anything bad there, you know? You know? But anyway, I just wanted to mention a couple places. And I never have ridden in Town Cab. But it seems like it must be reasonable. Where are you going? Over there? Oh yeah, we go there. It's like, I think the only other thing I want to mention before I play, I have like 9 more songs I wanted to play, but I'll probably only be able to play 2. And maybe once I do that and they announce you can come do a couple songs. All right, and then I'll finish my program and you can do that. But have you noticed the trend with the stretch pants scene? I think there should be stretch pants police. Is anybody with me on this? I saw a girl, and I'm not making fun of anybody. This is just the real thing. They're feeling really confident in themselves. So I figured, okay, I'm gonna check it out. This girl walks by me. She had like the entire map of Africa on her rear. You can see, and proud of it. She's walking, and I'm seeing rivers go by. And I'm thinking to myself, this is not right. You know, and even the women who have great figures defigure themselves. So I don't know, but I think it's really good that they have that much confidence. But I think there should be, can you see it, the cop with the little thing on his head? Pull over. You can't do that. Not in public.
But anyway, it's just something I notice over time. But anyway, I'm going to do another song for you. There's a gentleman who's a phenomenal trumpet player, and he's a great singer. His name is Clark Terry, very character-looking guy, and plays. And he's a good singer. And he was in this group of 4 people, and there wasn't a vocalist, so they just said to him, "Will you sing something?" "Sure." "You want to tell me what it is?" "No." So he wrote this song, and he calls it Mumbles. And I've been doing that for years, but never in public. So I'm going to do my own mumbles. This goes out to my nephew Dickie. Like this goes. And it's just the keyboard, he's so loud. And this is not gesattelt. And if I wasn't the king behind me, what this? He came in the jump on the heart and then he thought, and if it's done, because with that cover, it's done the fire. And the king is off, I think to stop on that, and then I say, oh yeah, woohoo! Many more songs I want to do, but I'm going to do just a little bit of a ragtime bluesy song. But I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. This has been a wonderful thing. I want to recognize the library. The purpose of me, partly of me being here, is to bring further recognition to this huge asset in this town. I think Southbridge is a phenomenal town. And also to bring recognition to the fact that we can bring ourselves together, we can do all kinds of different styles of music and perhaps meet some new friends, and get rid of a few. No. So I'm going to do this little ditty to send you off in a happy spirit, and it goes like this.
like I said, Dick, everybody's been his student. I heard just recently that Andrew Jackson was one of your... No?
Michael Jackson.
Oh, okay. Really, you're not using my mic. Good?
Beautiful. Speaks right up, don't it?
How many years old is that?
That's 104. And
So they're about the
the
same age.
story is half the fun with this thing. I think it's a good match with some of the songs that he's done today. But I won't be up here too long. I just want to tell you the story of this and how much I enjoy it, you know. I knew the music dealer in the Amherst Common for years, and he said, "Dickie, I have a great story. I think you'll like it." And he says, I have a friend he tears down old buildings that they need to eliminate in towns. And they're tearing one down in the state of Vermont. And he...
Thank you very much, Dick. That's all the time we have.
I'll get you.
I still owe you.
So he says, a friend of mine took me to show me something. So we went up in the attic of this old vacant building, and there were 30 mandolin banjos, like exactly the same as this. They were in the original boxes. They were supposed to be shipped to Spain, and it had the Spanish addresses and stuff on the boxes. But most of the boxes had been eaten by mice and rabbits and stuff.
Yeah.
But they were all in good condition, except the animals had eaten the heads. Banjo heads back in the old days used to be sheepskin and different skins, you know. So he said, "All I have to do, if you'd like one, I'll sell you one." I said, "Of course I would," and I got it for a good price. Got a good deal on it. And what's different about it from that period is at that time they didn't have microphones and amps and PA systems, but banjos were very popular in the pubs, and these would drown out any of the other regular banjos. These would. So I'll try a couple of Irish tunes for you. it's discolored over the years. It says La Melodia, banjo mandolin. Wow. Kind of a neat find, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, thank you for listening. Yeah, it's great. And, it's great for me because I can get attention in a noisy pub without being a jerk.
Thank you, Dick.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
I guess I have time to do one more song, which I really wanted to do this song earlier. And then we have 40 seconds to get out of here.
Oh, gee.
No, I wanted to do this song. It's one of my favorite songs. When I first went to San Francisco, I was still honing my skills and tried at best to find out a way to play music. So I bought a clarinet at a pawn shop for $30.
Mm-hmm.
And it was antiquated back then, but it worked.
Yeah.
And I would play, Ashley, do I have time for one more song? One more. And so I learned 3 songs. And I went down to San Francisco in the Powell Market area where the cable car goes around in circles, and so do people. And there's traffic, huge traffic amongst this thing. And I just kept playing the same songs. 3 songs all day long. I was getting really good. And one of the songs I've been playing since then, and it has become one of my favorite songs, and I think it's become one of me and my daughter's favorite songs. I actually played it for a dance recital. But anyways, I just love the song. We've spent some great time with it. And I just want to say, during that day, a lady had come up during the morning, and I was playing this song, and she put some money in my thing, and all day went by. I went there all day, and back then it was like $70 I made. It was like huge, you know.
Yeah.
And so it's around 5 o'clock, and she comes back. She goes, "I can't believe it. I was hoping you'd play that song again." This is a true story, you know. And I'm thinking, I said, "Oh my God, you know, I'm so glad I was able to." You know, and so she put more money in it, and I played the song, and she just, you know, it's just thanks. I said I had no intention on playing that song again. It's really ironic. I played it 64 times that day. But anyway, it's Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and this goes out to you, sweetie. My daughter, Annie. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land I've heard of once in a lullaby. Whoa. Somewhere over the rainbow, where skies are blue, and dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me. Where troubles melt like lemon drops away upon the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds they do fly. Birds fly over Thank you again. It's great to see all of you. Thank you very much.
Michael Jackson.
Really, you're not using my mic.
Maybe I'll send this out to all you guys. That wouldn't hurt. I mean, I'm glad you're born. I might as well love you too.
Somewhere over the rainbow.